the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News
This is
Now.
a scary day. A rapidly moving incident with a lot of moving parts, very complicated, and the agencies that you're seeing here today represent the best of what this county does when faced with a tragedy and a challenge.
This morning on DC News Now, one person is dead following a massive explosion on Route 15 in Frederick, Maryland, and the community is picking up the pieces. This video sent to our newsroom shows the huge flames and black smoke that came from that overturned tanker. Thank you so much for joining us this morning at DC News Now. I'm Damaris Sisse, and we're starting right into our top stories. That fatal explosion in Frederick, Maryland. Now, the investigation into what caused the scene is ongoing, but here's what we know so far. The driver of that tanker truck is the one that died in this situation, and although multiple cars and homes were damaged and several people were also displaced. Now, we got team coverage for you this morning, and we begin with Dave Laval, who spent the entire night on the scene, and he shows us what's left of that tanker after this devastating explosion.
What remains of the tanker sits on the shoulder on northbound 15 along Apple Avenue. Crews continue to remove the last of the flammable liquid from inside the tanker. But at this point, we have not been told what it carried.
Home security footage captured the explosion that happened around noon Saturday along northbound 15 in Frederick. Velmut Sisson and her husband Bob live on the other side of Highway 15. They captured video just after the blast, which scared them a bit.
I was waiting for another explosion, quite frankly. I don't think I want to be standing in front of the house when you've got flames like that. So, we went back inside and huddled in the back, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and it was just amazing.
A preliminary investigation found 6 homes and 5 cars suffered damage from the flames. Many of those incidents got started, according to Frederick County Fire and Rescue Services, by strong winds that spread the flames.
We see these enormous black clouds billowing in 2 different areas. We saw it in north of us, and then south of us, it's like, oh my gosh, there's just wall of black coming up.
There's been no word if anyone home at the time of the explosion suffered any injuries.
Maryland State Police have not released the name of the driver killed in the explosion, nor have they said what caused the crash as their investigation continues. In Frederick, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Now, officials in the city of Frederick say emergency crews were quick to act, arriving on the scene and getting the flames under control within 40 minutes of the initial call. Now, DC News Now, Katie Ree is live with us in the studio to explain what local leaders are saying comes next for the people living in the area who've been impacted.
Good morning. Now what happens next is the cleanup and restoration process of the area around where this tanker truck exploded, and residents voiced their concerns about how to prevent similar accidents from happening in the future. Now, Fire Chief Tom Coe says there is no risk to neighbors surrounding the area of the fire on Route 15. Agencies are still working to confirm what was actually in that tanker, but the foam that they used to put out the fire was environmentally friendly. He said that neighbors can expect an extensive cleanup and could also expect to see some of that foam in Carroll Creek, but Frederick City Department of Public Works is already trying to contain that foam. Mayor Michael O'Connor also confirmed that none of the hazardous material from that explosion reached the creek or the city's sewer system.
Cleanup's going to take some time, so we had a hydrocarbon or a flammable liquid fire or fuel leak that went across the ground. So we have to make sure that we contain that, which we have, and now it's a process of cleaning that up, removing earth and the such that's contaminated.
Now, residents along Route 15 also raised safety concerns surrounding the accident. In the next half hour, we'll tell you about the planned response by local leaders, including Mayor Michael O'Connor. So stay tuned for that. Reporting in the studio, Katie Ree, DC News Now. Back to you.
Thank you, Katie. We're continuing our team coverage on DC News Now. Anay Simmons, who was also on the ground in Frederick, she spoke to some of the people who were impacted and also saw this firsthand. Here's what they had to say.
It was quite a scary day for the people of the city of Frederick. Black smoke covered the area as first responders arrived to a tanker truck that hit a tree and caused an explosion. George Connell, who lives in the area, says he had to wear a mask because of all the smoke around him.
I look up in the air. I was about ready to walk in there and up to 7th Street, and I saw this black smoke, and I said, well, that's moving very quickly. That's a fire.
One part of this house on Apple Avenue completely burned. Officials say the family inside the house was displaced, cars burnt. Vera Bearfield says she witnessed the whole accident.
It's hard to imagine what that person went through. For me to stand out and watch it, it was very, very heartbreaking. It really was, and it still is. Just watching it, it's heartbreaking.
Now, Frederick officials have gone on record saying there is no risk to the public at this time, and the foam used to fight the fire shouldn't cause any environmental damage to Carroll Creek. And we'll continue to follow the story this morning, so stick with us on DC News Now. Well, it's time for weather. What can we expect to see this week, especially today on Sunday Fun Day?
You know, Yamari, definitely going to be a beautiful day out there. We're talking about sunshine, we're talking about 60-degree weather and less wind. So overall, get outside and enjoy your Sunday Fun Day. And it's all thanks to high pressure just down to our south. This is the reason why we are seeing lots of sunshine today. This high will continue to slip through the area late tonight. We will see some winds begin to pick up a little during the afternoon time, but it's not going to be as windy as it was yesterday. But right now we got to deal with those temperatures. Stepping out the door, fairly chilly out there. We're talking about lower 40s here in the nation's capital. Upper 30s though as you head over there to Hagerstown. Still below freezing though as you head further off west into those higher terrains. So just make sure you have the jacket if you are heading out the door right now. Those wind chill values makes it feel a little bit more chillier than those outside temperature. It feels like 36 here in the nation's capital, 32 there in Hagerstown. You head over there to the higher terrain, it feels like the 20s. So just make sure you are bundling up, but you could ditch the jacket as we head through the afternoon today. So planning your morning, we'll start to see those temperatures rise into the mid 50s by that 11 o'clock hour, but we're holding on to the sunshine, but we are tracking some showers in that 7 days. So definitely keep it here, Yamari. We'll talk about that in just a bit.
Well, thank you so much, Brittany. Breaking overnight in Frederick, Maryland, one person is dead following an encounter with local police. Officials say police were searching for a person who was wanted for a parole violation, and according to Chief Jason Lando, the person had a knife and refused to put it down when confronted by police. Officers then opened fire, killing him. This is an ongoing investigation, and police have yet to even name the person who was killed.
I'm unable to release any other details at this time out of respect not only to the family of the deceased, but to the investigatory process. We have to let the IID do their job from here.
What happened around 6:30 last night on Northeast Street. Chief Lando says the officer immediately tried to render aid, but were unable to save that man, and he was unable to confirm how many officers were discharged their weapons and how many rounds were fired. Now in Montgomery County, one man is looking for answers after someone broke into his home recently. Now, this person didn't just steal things. They lounged around his home using his toothbrush, razor, and shower. Now, our Daniel Hamburg took a trip to this man's Germantown home to take a look at what's missing in this bizarre break-in.
There's a lot of crime in Germantown, a lot. It didn't used to be like this.
Roger Moran didn't expect to be the victim of a home burglary. But when he came home last month, he noticed things missing and out of place.
And these taller items were put here and the window was closed. And I'm thinking, that's strange, because I didn't do that. And I turned around and the window air conditioner that usually is in this window was on the floor.
In his bedroom, he had watches, hunting knives, and clothing missing.
He hung out in the bed, and over there was littered with Coca-Cola cans, bottled water, protein shakes, energy drinks. You know, there was like 6 of them. So he'd been here for some time.
In his bed, when police got there, he found a man's underwear and coat in a heap.
He lit some candles as he relaxed in my bed.
Probably the grossest part of this burglary happened back here in the bathroom. Moran says the man likely came in here, used his toothbrush because he found it right here on the soap dish. He found a hairbrush in there, long black hair in the drain, and over here he found whiskers and shaving cream in the sink, not to mention that the toilet was not flushed.
Moran says police were able to get some good fingerprints around the house.
We all agree he was probably homeless. He's probably transient, moving from here to there, and he went from here, and he was, seen down in Rockville, so maybe he's moving in that direction.
Rockville is where police found his laptop behind a dumpster and hunting knives in the bag. But one thing he's most upset about is one of his high-end bicycles that was stolen.
I ride in the Great Cycle Challenge, which is to raise money for childhood cancer. And that's what the bike was for. It was the bike that I rode hundreds of miles on.
In all, the burglar got away with $10,000 to $12,000 worth of things.
The things he stole were material things. I didn't get hurt. None of my loved ones, my girlfriend didn't come over in the middle of the day and find him here and have him hit her on the head with a baseball bat.
While he counts himself lucky no one was hurt, he's still wondering who did this and why. In Germantown, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Well, and the district COVID centers are closing at the end of this month, March 31st. Now, that's according to a recent announcement from the DC Health. This is in response to a significant drop in COVID case numbers, a high vaccination rate, and the increase in at-home testing kits. Now, the center's purpose was to provide locals with free and easy access to COVID vaccines and tests. In total, the COVID centers provided over 1 million free masks, more than 80,000 vaccination doses, more than 400,000 rapid antigen tests, and nearly 40,000 PCR tests. Well, now your time is 8:10, and we'll have more of our top stories after the break. But so far, stick with us to hear what's coming up next. Upping employment benefits. 1 in 5 military spouses are unemployed themselves. And up next, the steps lawmakers are taking to get more of those partners into the workforce. Welcome back. Checking in briefly on our top stories of the morning. One person is dead and several people are displaced after a large tanker explosion in Frederick, Maryland. Now, so far, we do know that the driver that drove this truck actually crashed into a tree on Route 15, which then caught fire. The truck carrying hazardous materials also exploded, and the driver did pass away in this incident. Now, several homes and cars were also burned. The investigation into what caused all of this continues. And also in Frederick, Maryland, one person is dead following an encounter with police officers. Officials tell us that the man who was killed was wanted for a parole violation. When police came with the warrant, they say the man refused to drop a knife he was holding, and officers then opened fire. He died at the scene and has yet to be identified. It's unclear how many officers were involved or how many shots were fired at this time, but we will have both of those stories for you this morning, and as we learn more, we will continue to keep you updated. Now, unemployment is a major issue among military spouses, and lawmakers are hoping to change that. Members from both parties have proposed a bill to offer incentives to businesses that hire military spouses. Now, the bill would give tax credits to those businesses that hire these spouses and personnel, and similar bill was proposed during last Congress, but they ran out of time. So now lawmakers say this is a great way to thank military families for their service, and it's beneficial to everyone involved.
Just such a talented group of people, we shouldn't have any barriers in their way. Plus, we want to thank them for the sacrifices.
This would be good for the employer, great for military, great for military retention. So we feel like it would solve a lot of problems.
A Defense Department survey says that over 20% of military spouses are unemployed. Well, scammers are getting more creative, and the number of attempts is on the rise. Everyone knows how annoying these messages can be, so how can you put a stop to it? Well, you should copy the message and send it to 7726, and this will help your wireless provider block similar messages in the future. You can also report the messaging app that you use. Be careful about giving people your phone number information away, and you can opt out of receiving text messages on any customer website. Well, it is time for weather. You know, I understand that today's going to be sunny, but what can we expect for the rest of the week?
You know, Yamari, today is definitely going to be the pick of the weekend. We're going to be holding on to the sunshine right as we head into the rest of the week. But spoiler alert, in that 7-day, we are tracking some showers. So get ready for that. But hey, at least today we are dry and less windy. This is a live look there at the National Cathedral here in Washington, D.C. You can see the sun just shining on it. Overall, a beautiful picture, and that is going to be the trend as we head into your Sunday fun day. But it is a cold start, so if you are stepping out the door this morning, just make sure you have a jacket on hand. Lots of sunshine to go around the entire DMV as we head through your day today. It will be breezy though as we continue to head into the rest of your work week. But then, like I said, we are tracking those showers by the end of the work week, and we're also tracking a cool down as well. So we'll get to that in just a bit. But think back to yesterday. We have seen a big improvement in our winds. Some of us not even seeing winds at this current moment in time. And overall, this will be the trend today. We could be a little bit breezy at times where those winds will be getting up to about 10 miles per hour through the afternoon. But again, not going to be as windy as what we saw yesterday. So a quick look at Future Tracker, kind of timing everything out for you guys. We do have high pressure that is just off to our south. That's what's going to be giving us the sunshine that we're going to be seeing today. Now, that high begins to slip offshore as we head into our Monday, and then we're going to be keeping our eye out on this storm system that's going to be making its way through our area as we head into the later half of our Monday. Overall, Monday will be dry, but then as this quick storm system begins to approach, the cold front associated with it will be bringing a few upslope snow shower or a few rain showers there into Garrett County. Once that cold front passes, though, the winds behind it will begin to be a little bit breezy than before, and then overall looks like we will be staying dry for at least our Tuesday and portions of our Wednesday. So planning your brunch here in the nation's capital, well, like I said, it's going to be a very nice day for you guys to do so. By that 11 o'clock hour, holding on to the mid-50s, but we got sunshine to talk about throughout your entire Sunday as you head into 2, starting to warm up into the lower 60s, and then we're holding on to the lower 60s as we head into that 4 o'clock hour. Overall, highs tomorrow will be a little bit cooler than they were today. We're starting to see them in the upper 50s to lower 60s the further off you head south, but still going to be seeing lots of sunshine as we head into your Monday. So quick look at that 7-day forecast for you guys. Lower 60s today with lots of sunshine. Could be breezy as we head through your afternoon. Tad bit cooler as we head into your Tuesday or your Monday, with a late shower possible. Then those winds begin to pick up as we head into Tuesday. But hey, we're holding on to the sunshine through Thursday. Then it looks like by Friday we are seeing our next rain chance.